Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of our merry Marvelites. Welcome to Marvel Movie Talk right here on Geekscape. As always, I'm the DJ, he's the rapper, MC Christian Bladt, and of course, DJ Jazzy Jeff himself, DJ Eric Conner. I don't know.
Easy E right here. Hello,
Yeah, Easy
sir.
E. Hello, sir. And so exciting to be back for another fun filled episode. I hope everybody checked out our previous episode where we actually did a show for this iteration of this show. The first time ever we did an in person show where we went over to Katie Hampton's place. Jim Puri, who is the person who portrays Craven in the Spider-Man 2 game for PlayStation. We all hung out. The audio was a little marginal. I'm not gonna lie. I did some heavy lifting to the audio version, and I did my best to make it listenable. It was fun to watch. We had cats. There was so much going on. We were handing mics back and forth. So I'd like to do that again, but I would like the tech to be a little bit more buttoned down. But I don't know. I think we had fun, and people seemed to
Oh,
enjoy
that was
that show.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I enjoyed. There was light touching, not heavy, but just
From
enough to
you're
make me
talking about
feel real.
from the cats. Yeah, yeah,
The cat. Well, at one point, the cat fell off the couch. I
yeah,
hope that moment played as well as it did for you all at home as it
yeah.
did for us
I
on the
think it did.
couch.
Yeah, yeah.
Poor
Absolutely.
guy.
Oh my goodness. Well, so we are here today with we periodically like to do this. We like to kind of touch base, check in
Make sure okay.
on yeah, make sure everybody's okay. We know everybody's okay, so we'll see you next week. No, no, no. We like to check in on the MCU and Marvel Studios in general. Where's everything going? Where have things moved? We unfortunately had, oh my gosh, more than 5 months of work stoppage in the entertainment industry, which definitely affected my bottom line here in my household. And, the only big screen movie we're going to get in 2024 is Deadpool 3. And there's going to be some other stuff that we do get, but it's kind of moved around when we get it. So we're going to look ahead to all of 2024. And then there's a couple things that have gotten punted to 2025. And this all comes from an article that was provided by the man you see in the box below me, the one and only DJ Jazzy Conner, Count Eric Conner himself. And I think it's important, especially for something we'll talk about in a little bit, that the source for this is the show business Bible, as it were, Variety. This is a very reputable source, Eric. I think that is very important because you get a lot of dates, you get a lot of rumors, you get a lot of some blog says, well, according to another blog, this is what's happening. We'll talk
Right.
about that in a little bit as it
You
relates to a big project. What were you going to say, sir?
no, you could say this is the geekscape of periodicals. I feel like
Yes.
Variety has that cachet,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
almost on par with Geekscapes. So I feel
Almost.
like,
Yeah. They
I mean,
they
it's the
they
only two
don't have
sources
a
of news.
they don't have a Jonathan London, but
Yeah.
they get close. So we're going to talk about every Marvel Studios movie and Disney Plus project in 2024. And as it says on the Variety article and beyond. And look, I think we're doing a great job by giving them credit. I could have just, grabbed these dates and been like, yep, this is all my stuff. And so our visual audience will see there's the picture that made the rounds of Deadpool and Wolverine in the yellow and blue suit, because somebody's probably allegedly had enough steroids to last a lifetime, and he's like, I'm not going to get that kind of shape again. But we've got the great Catherine Hahn right here from Agatha, and of course we have the new Captain America from the upcoming Captain America movie. So, and I think that so this article talks about sort of where we've been, and what projects came out last year, and maybe how some of those were received. But there will be 3 Disney Plus series, and this is from the beginning of the year. So it mentions Echo, X-Men 97 and Agatha, and Deadpool 3. So there is some stuff that comes about a little bit later on. And so they wanted to start by talking about X-Men 97, which I am fortunate enough to know someone who works on. And he has not, the last time I talked to him, he wouldn't even confirm that the show was called X-Men 97, which is very frustrating, Eric. But
He wouldn't give you
that,
any. He wouldn't even give you like one of the 2 digits.
yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't X-Men 9 or 7, or it wasn't X-Men 7 of 9. He wasn't interested in any of that stuff. So he, but then he shared some artwork that I'm about to share with you. We'll step aside from that Variety article, and we're going to look at the Instagram page by an artist named Russell Daughterman, and it's a fun image of an X-Men 97 style image where we've got Cyclops, we've got Jubilee, we've got Rogue. So there's definitely some very fun imagery, and we get to see some of our favorites. Jean Grey,
Snick.
yeah, that's true. There was a nice snick there, right underneath Jubilee, and there's Rogue and Bishop. That is kind of the thing that stands out. That Bishop is a part of the ensemble, as it were. So I think we've talked a lot about this show. We've talked about X-Men, the animated series. We've had guests on. We've had Eric and Julia Lewald, who were involved in the original animated series, which we'll call X-Men 92 for the sake of delineating the 2 series. And for years, we were talking about, boy, it would be great if it came back. Ever since they announced that there would be an X-Men 97, there was a lot of excitement about it. It seems like it's going to have a very similar look to it. It seems like they're going to capture the tone, the style, the storytelling. I want to get your thoughts on X-Men 97 as what seems like a continuation of X-Men 92.
Well, it's funny because X-Men is also going to get rebooted in the MCU, like kind of any minute now.
Yeah.
Obviously Beast showed up at the end of the Marvels, and so
which is now on Disney Plus, by the way. So we feel like we can finally talk about it as of Wednesday. It was on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, for all you anyone who didn't go see it, I think it's kind of, you deserve a little bit of our scorn.
Yeah,
for not
right.
supporting.
I mean, if you're watching this show and you didn't see it, what's that about?
Right. What's that say about you? Not about us.
Yeah.
What about you?
Agreed.
And this, we always, in the show, we always talk about like Storm, and how Storm has managed never to get the treatment she's deserved in any of the movie incarnations, and yet in the animated show, it's the best she's been represented outside the comic books, and also too, I think you and I both have a soft spot for Cyclops, and Cyclops another one. Sort of, once you put what's his name in the role, obviously he's going to lose
James
his girl.
Marsden.
Yeah, James Marsden, the king of the cuckolds.
I was going to say the professional Hollywood cuck. He played J. Jonah Jameson's son.
Right.
I don't even remember there's like several examples where he's had a role very similar to that. I mean, he even gets the spotlight stolen by Sonic the Hedgehog, so he's in those films as well. So seems like a nice enough guy, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
and a good looking guy. I mean, like, in some ways I enjoy watching someone that handsome.
Sure.
Constantly on the losing side of things.
I know you
gives
do.
me great pleasure. But he looks the role, but they never gave him much heft as a character.
No, and then they kind of kill him off halfway through The Last Stand, which is just a horrific film anyway.
Yeah, and they kill him off screen.
Yeah,
like the ultimate cuck move is you get kissed by your girlfriend and disintegrate, but you don't even get the cool image of you
Yeah.
disintegrating or
You know what that's
his
called
optic
now? Not
beam.
at the time that that happened in The Last Stand, but now we call getting killed off screen. He got Admiral Akbar'd, and that is a rough way to go, is to get killed off screen. But let's steer the ship back towards X-Men 97. So getting those characters, getting an animated series on
Right.
Disney Plus, that's exciting for me because I loved that show. I continued to record that show on VHS. I had a VCR set for it when I was in college, and because
Really?
I didn't want to miss it. You know, I wasn't getting up Saturday morning to watch it, but
Oh,
yeah, because before,
sweet
when I was
young
still in high
Christian.
school, my little sister and I used to watch it every Saturday because I knew those stories, I loved them, and she was just starting to kind of find them. I would actually let her borrow my comics. That's how excited I was to have somebody in the house who cared about any of it. So I just think it's great, and the idea of watching X-Men 97 with the kids. I don't know. I'm over the moon, as they say, Eric.
Right. Well, unfortunately, my boys now are in this weird stage where they're starting to grow past some of the shows and the cartoons. So, like, I'm sure they'll come back around, but it might be a lot of years. So this might be
Yeah.
a solo watch, or maybe you and your children will let me watch with you guys.
We might let
You
Uncle
know,
Eric come by. Yeah, yeah.
as long as I pick up tea cakes, a Burbank specialty for everyone.
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, the thing is too, it's like the animation style was always good. It's not quite as artistic, let's say, as Batman, but it was, really captured a lot of the spirit of the comic book. It's fun, and it's funny even in the what was it in Doctor Strange, when you had those kind of random cameos. Remember, they played a little piece of the music from the TV
Oh
show,
yeah,
from the
of
cartoon,
course. Yeah.
and people responded to that. So I think there is such a this holds a special place in a lot of fans' hearts. So
Yes, I
it
agree.
was a smart kind of safe bet, which I think right now Marvel needs a few more of those,
Yes,
because
a
yes,
hundred percent. I agree with that.
some of the recent output's been a little spotty. So I think this is a smart way to go about it.
Secret invasion. What? Who said that? I didn't.
Oh,
Oh, I know.
we
It's
promise
still.
not to say the
I
SI
know
word.
it's still too soon.
Oh,
Look, and
so good.
obviously everybody watching, we've talked a lot about X-Men 97. We're very excited about it. Can't wait to see it. What we know is sometime this year, and we have like an expectation that it'll be at some point in the year, and that's actually really all we know. It's like early 2024 is the time frame listed on Variety. So that's all we have to go on. And I think it's because even they don't know. They have a general idea, but they're not quite ready. But, and I've talked a lot about this, the date for the release of Deadpool 3, July 26, 2024, the day my son Felix turns 9. And Eric, like me, we saw lots of movies when we were kids that maybe we shouldn't have, but I think emotionally we were prepared for. But that was in a different world, a strange place called the 80s. In 2024, I don't know that Deadpool's really for a 9-year-old.
Depends what
So
you want him to say to you later. Like, what do
yeah,
you want him
right,
to call you that year?
yeah, exactly. So I am very excited for this because of some of the rumors. There have been rumors and speculation that we would get Jennifer Garner as Elektra. There's those level of potential cameos, and we have a good 5 months, a little bit more than 5 months, almost 6 really, until we'll know. But the speculation is fun, and I don't try to seek out any, this image that we're sharing for a visual audience was posted both by Ryan Reynolds and by Hugh Jackman, and also like every Marvel blog and show, including this one. And I'm fine that this is out there, but I don't want to see any like on location clandestine photography shooting
Right.
of cameos, people leaving the soundstage in Atlanta or whatever. I don't want any of that. So I would like there to be some surprises because I feel like this has a potential to just be great. I mean, it's sort of like, there's the series Deadpool Destroys the Marvel Universe. And I almost feel like this is basically going to be, because it's an MCU film, it's going to be like Deadpool destroys the Fox universe, and Deadpool basically creates the MCU. He sort of patches it all together. He's gonna figure out a way to get some Sony stuff in there. He's gonna get the Fox stuff in there. But the second Deadpool to me was a bit of a drop off from the first. Still really enjoyed it. Really always enjoy when Ryan Reynolds is on screen as Deadpool after X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Right.
Not in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh. It's kind of miraculous that after how terribly that went, that they were willing to kind of go back to the drawing board with not just that character, which they do plenty of times, but rather the marriage of Ryan Reynolds and that character.
Correct,
and
yes.
That he had enough cachet to kind of get a push through. And now it's the thing. It's like Marvel couldn't be happier to have this thing coming out this summer. It's like they need a spark plug. And Ryan Reynolds is also just so brilliant as a marketing guy. Like Free Guy, the whole Deadpool series, that soccer team. Like he basically just knows how to get himself everywhere, every corner of the internet. And even the announcement of this was funny, with hey, you want to be in Deadpool 3? Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
like
I love that. That was great.
It was perfect. And they have a Super Bowl spot this weekend, so I guess I don't know. Are you going to close your eyes and cover your ears when that plays?
No. That's something that the studio is releasing, and they want us to see. I don't want like somebody from the first test screening who managed to sneak a photo of the screen and show me something that they are trying to keep secret. We're talking about the Marvels has this end credits scene with Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy, the Beast. And it's like, oh, somebody, and I actually know people who had it spoiled by the internet. And I'm like, oh, that's such a terrible feeling, because it was so cool to hear that voice and to see him. And whatever the equivalent of that happens in Deadpool 3, I want to experience it that way, So very excited for this movie, the potential for it to just be so crazy and all over the place. And I don't know.
We kind of come for we come for the crazy with this too. I think.
Yeah.
What also helps is our expectations are not about sort of continuing or expanding mythology, but rather just, are we going to have a good time? Are we going to kind of F around with this character and these worlds? And even like his announcement when they wrapped production was, I don't know if you saw this. I think I sent it to you. Maybe it was a photo of his crotch. Just a close-up of his crotch in the costume, and then a really kind of loving letter to his crew, and then mocks Hugh Jackman at the end, and of course for suffering through Hugh Jackman for the past X amount of months. So he just constantly finds a way to like stay charming in ways that other actors just, you get annoyed with them after a while. It becomes off as smug. It never does with him somehow.
Yeah, he's no Timothy Chalamet. No, I think that I'm still all in on Ryan Reynolds, and really just the potential for the fact that you feel like this movie can be anything is, I think, why we're excited. And to the point that Marvel could really use a bona fide hit in the theaters.
Sure.
It's the only one for the whole year. You don't have to worry about the distractions of like, there was Deadpool, but last year Guardians 3 was considered critical, financial, artistic success. And then there was the Marvels. There was Quantumania, both two movies that I liked, but they were not as successful as that. So you have all the focus on Deadpool. You have the excitement for Deadpool. People love Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And, we're in our 24th year of seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine on the big screen. So I think people are ready for this movie. I know our chat is ready for this movie, and Daniel Drew will be there on the first day for sure. Um, so in any case, let me know if I'm sounding good now, Eric. It's okay
Now it's
if
better. Yes.
yeah. I
For
think
our
I
wireless
was leaning.
listeners, yes.
I think I was leaning on some of my wires. So
It happens to all of us at some point.
right, exactly. Yeah, just, and it's just what happens in this electronic world we're in. You know, do robots dream of electric sheep? I don't know, but I also know if I don't lean on my wires, it doesn't get all crackly. So yeah, I think that it's tough to put anything ahead of that. Obviously, X-Men '97, super excited for that, but it's also just like I don't know. I mean, this is so big to have Deadpool in the MCU, and I am all over it and excited. And look, not everybody is necessarily excited for what the fall will bring. A show whose title has changed many times. Actually, I believe this is the third title for this show. It's moved around as a release date, but as we have focused on over the last couple years, Eric, it was Agatha all along, wasn't it?
Almost definitely. And unfortunately, because of American Movie, the fabulous documentary, I still see the word coven and think of it as the word coven.
Coven.
Uh,
I
there's
have
a guy
not
in there.
thought about I have not thought about American Movie in a very long time, and I love those guys, and that's a phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know where I went. Do you still? Yeah, I don't know where my image went, but I'm back.
I
So
see you. I see you.
yeah.
You were here all along, son. You were here
Yeah,
all
I
along.
was Agatha. All right, perfect. So yeah, look, we definitely talked a lot about when we did our week to week review of WandaVision, which was when this show was on my YouTube channel, Blackcast. If for some reason you would like to revisit those, they're all there on the Blackcast YouTube channel, BLADTCAST. And I thought Catherine Hahn was great. The reveal that she was Agatha Harkness. I still have kind of a feeling about WandaVision that it, as we've said before, it did not stick the landing. It didn't end strong for me personally. Agatha was a little bit of that, but I still thought it was a great performance. It's a character that's such an integral part of the MCU. So I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to the show for sure. Uh, I don't know why it's a coven or a coven of chaos. In all honesty, but we should get it in the fall. And the let's see. So WandaVision head writer Jack Schaefer will write and produce the show, part of her overall deal. And yeah, here's the part that I wanted to focus on. So the show was announced with the title Agatha House of Harkness in July 2022. That was updated to Agatha Coven of Chaos. See, now you're making me be really careful to not say Coven of Chaos.
Yes.
And then in September 2023, updated again to Agatha Darkhold Diaries, which would obviously refer to the book of all the really nasty evil spells. And at the very least, this show will be called Agatha. So interesting casting, sort of returning to a Marvel property. It includes Aubrey Plaza, Patty Lupone, Sashir Zamata from SNL, and I don't necessarily know who some of those stars are, but Deborah Jo Rupp and Emma Caulfield Ford will be reprising their roles from WandaVision, which is kind of interesting to think about how this will tie into sort of the world that Wanda created, the WandaVision world, there in New Jersey. So what are you thinking about in terms of what we might get there, Eric? And I'll let you share your thoughts while I try and fix
Yeah,
my
oh,
my
of
audio
course.
cable. But you go ahead. You take this full screen.
Oh my God, it's just me. This is horrifying. Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry you have to be this close to me. I think the thing with Agatha, we really need more villains. I think that's one thing. Like we have Secret Wars coming up some point. We'll see when. And to really make Secret Wars work, you need to have enough antagonists, enough villains to go, mano a mano with enough heroes. We have a lot of heroes right now, but really they've gotten very thin on the villains. So maybe Agatha will give us a couple. I don't know if it'll be anyone who you have as your starters, but at least a bench. If you're telling me Delaware's own Aubrey Plaza might show up in other movies, I'm game for that. She's
Yeah,
fabulous. And then Patty,
absolutely.
and of course Patty LuPone, who originated the role of Evita, uh, who is one of those actors who knows how to chew every bit of scenery she's ever been in front of. And so I don't know if
Yes.
she's going to be exactly popping up in a bunch of these properties, but I'm excited for the energy she'll bring to the small screen. And then, of course, what Catherine Hahn's done with the role is great. And I think maybe, though, the concern with Agatha is, are we spending maybe then too much time with bench players? Are we kind of going off the path too far to the side when they really still need to kind of work on their starting lineup? Like right now, especially with what's going on outside of the actual stories, but with the man who was supposed to be taking over for Thanos as the big bad, and now he's not part of this universe anymore. We don't know what's up with that character. So I think it will be a lovely distraction for a couple episodes. I
Yeah.
know one of our colleagues who it was triggered every time Miss Hahn took the screen, but she has time and again really proven herself as a performer, and really also a really great performer, specifically to television. I think that's the
Correct.
thing about
Yes.
her. She's good in movies. She was good in the
Yeah.
Glass Onion, but I think there's something about some actors are just great on TV, and my dog agrees.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, your dog is a
so
huge Catherine Hahn fan. Yeah, absolutely.
massive fan. How
Yeah.
about you, Christian? How are you feeling about this property?
I think that it's one of those ones that I'm excited about the potential, but it's a very fine line because you're like, oh, it could definitely go the wrong way. If
Oh, sure.
the focus, if the character isn't played with the nuance that made us enjoy her when she first appeared and we got the reveal of Agatha, um, if it's that tone and and it has to be a little bit subtle. She's very over the top at the end of WandaVision, and I think she needed to be. She's a witch, for goodness sake. I get it, but I don't know. So I am always cautiously optimistic, and I feel good about it, but realize that of the properties we're going to talk about, this is one that it's not going to take much for them to just go way over the top, have
Yeah.
it be like one of those, basically have it be Bewitched. Although if they took a Bewitched episode and they just did like a shot for shot, Gus Van Sant sort of remake like Psycho, I'd be all right with it. I would want to see that, how they how they can
Although
make that work.
you do remember one thing they added to the Gus Van Sant Psycho, I would hope they do not add to Agatha. And for the
Yeah,
sake
yeah,
of a
yeah.
family audience, I will not say what that is.
Yeah, the people can find it. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Also, on our screens
Ah,
in
Spidey.
2024 is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm wearing the sweatshirt. I have the background behind me, and you have the black suit, the alien suit, the suit that would become Venom, but he's not Venom at that point. The the Marvel superhero Secret Wars #8
Yeah,
suit,
when he
basically.
used the wrong machine because someone
Yeah,
else got their costume fixed, and then he goes, "Oh,
yeah,
great," and he did, and they're like, "Wait a minute, that wasn't the machine." Oh well, and
yeah. It's
a
like,
super
oh, this is
villain was
cool.
born.
Yeah. So the visual audience will see that this is a logo from when this series was called Spider-Man Freshman Year, and it's now called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and it's going to have kind of sort of like a more of a throwbacky animation style.
Hmm.
This Variety article says it's not going to be that modern, sleek sort of design that we saw with What If, and they're going to give us some characters from the Marvel universe, the comic book universe. We'll get Nico from the Runaways, and it says a new crush who isn't Mary Jane and isn't Gwen Stacy. Amadeus Cho, who becomes a new Hulk in the comics. There's a Wakandan exchange student, Harry Osborn, and Harry's father, Norman, will be Peter's mentor at first. Big reveal. Charlie Cox will be voicing the role of Daredevil, and Doctor Strange will appear, although it's unclear if it's Benedict Cumberbatch. But if Benedict Cumberbatch did What If, I don't see why he wouldn't do this. But we're going to get some classic Spidey villains: Doc Ock, Tarantula, Speed Demon, Scorpion, Chameleon. I'm not going to pretend to know Unicorn or Butane, but those other ones are pretty exciting. There is already a season 2 in the works. So I think that this is a show that it might not be too hard to have fall by the wayside, for any of us really. But, I think as long as they time the release correctly, it'll just be one of those like, yeah, we're getting some new Spidey stories. And the most recent Spider-Man series that they had on Disney XD, when they things actually aired on cable first, was actually pretty good. And an old version of our show, we talked to the voice of that Spider-Man. Although it's confusing now. Was that this show or was that a show called Marvel TV Weekly? I don't know. Just go to YouTube and type it in. You'll find it. Yeah,
I think it was called the Blatt Hole Diaries, I believe was the
it was the Blatt Hole Diaries. So look, I love early Spidey. I would love it if this was sort of told in the style at least close to the continuity of Peter Parker when he's 15, 16. I get it. They want to dress it up with some new characters. A lot of animated series always try to find a way to get Miles and Gwen, as in Spider-Gwen. Look, they feel like they need to mix it up. So depending on how much it feels like the Spidey that I grew up with, the Spidey that I love, that'll really dictate how much of this I watch. This is the one where I feel like, I'll check it out for sure. But if it doesn't grab me, I don't feel like even doing a show like this, if I'm not enjoying it or if I'm at all just disinterested, I probably won't keep up with this one, because there have been a lot of Spider-Man animated series that I don't keep up in. Spidey and His Amazing Friends, as I've said many times, very popular in my household, but I don't usually watch it, even though I do smile when I see Rhino and Black Cat, and they've got Ms. Marvel, and they've got Lockjaw. So there's cool stuff on even that show. But what are your thoughts on this? This seems like exactly the show that your kids might have outgrown at this point, right, Eric?
It seems to have all the markings of that. Although I guess when it comes out, no, my older guy will be a sophomore by then, so it's going to feel even under him. Spider-Man's Amazing Friends will always hold a special place in my heart, and the Spider-Man 70s cartoon, heck, even Spider-Man from Electric Company. Spider-Man
Voiced by, of course, the great Morgan Freeman. Those stories, they were narrated.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And
Spider-Man found a rubber glove sandwich. Andy Dufresne crawled through a river of rubber glove sandwiches. Yeah. Peter Parker crawled through a river of shit. Anyway.
I wish I could tell you Spider-Man fought off Rhino. I wish I could tell you many things about Spider-Man that day. Yeah, listen, Spider-Man is so accessible, right? Yeah. He's if you're going to say, okay, give me Marvel, give me kid-friendly Marvel, of course you're going to go with him. And he's also like Spider-Man. The problem is too, Spider-Man's like the great hope for Marvel right now. Like Tom Holland teased a big announcement, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man 4!" And then it was he's doing Romeo and Juliet in London, which is cool, but he's not fighting Rhino. Although Romeo and Juliet would be amazing if he was. And so I think like the risk they're running into. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is so good. Like the whole Spider-Verse series. It is like next level animation, next level story, beautifully acted, beautifully constructed. And so this will inevitably feel like the little kitty version, as maybe not as much as the Spidey and His Amazing Friends,
Sure.
But I
Yeah.
think it's got a bit. I mean, there's a massive shadow already on this title before even episode one, and it could be fun. I mean, I like seeing the list of supervillains that are going to show up in this thing. Again, Spider-Man, if you're going to do a safe bet, that's your safe bet. A Spider-Man cartoon. There's been plenty of them. So yeah, this one I'm not waiting for it with anticipation, but I'm sure it will be fine. But I
Yeah.
also hope it doesn't take away their energy from all these other properties and really all these other MCU loose ends that are just sitting there like the biggest of dangling threads they haven't even touched yet for years. So that's the worry. It's like, are they taking away their attention and putting it on the thing that might only appeal to some, not all? And he is
Yeah. I
frozen.
mean
Oh no,
the
you're back.
article. Oh, I'm frozen.
You're
Okay.
frozen for a second. Oh, there you are.
See, you were frozen for me. That's
Uh
all right.
oh.
The article that you shared with me, that article talks about some of those loose ends. So we'll definitely focus on that at some point. But let me know if I'm moving okay and you're hearing me okay and all that, because this is this is quite a day, night, morning for some technical issues. But before the end of the show, we're going to tell everybody about our next episode, and it's going to focus on a very special afternoon, on a very special day, where we're going to see a very special movie. But we'll be talking about that a little later. Looking ahead, we have Valentine's Day next week, and most of you know the very special movie that comes out that day. But if you want to look ahead a year, you want to look ahead 53 weeks, you'll see that on February 14th, 2025, we are scheduled to get Captain America Brave New World, and our visual audience sees a behind the scenes photo of Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford as the new face of Thunderbolt Ross. And I think that this is kind of great, Eric. We're getting our Sam Wilson as Captain America movie, which was set up seemingly decades ago by Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, how long ago was the banker in our lives, Eric?
Well, the baker never left our lives, so
That's a great
in
point.
my mind, he was there forever. But yeah, that was the earliest part of the MCU TV run. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've been waiting, and I really do hope they bring the banker back. If even if he's killed in the opening scene,
Especially if he's killed in the opening scene.
of
Yeah,
course.
it's like, yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, you didn't want to give my sister money for her boat, so now Captain America is going to bring down Thor's hammer on the banker. Look, I think that this will be great. I think Anthony Mackie's always been great as Sam, as the Falcon. Getting to see him as Captain America, I think it's important that we realize that we move on from Steve Rogers, because Chris Evans wasn't going to be Captain America anymore. And instead of recasting him, instead of having John Walker be Captain America, I'm excited for this. I love the fact that Harrison Ford is going to be in it. You know, that he's Thunderbolt Ross now, and there's a lot of there have been a lot of rumors of characters who will be in here. I think it'll be really interesting if one in particular shows up, Eric, which I think we've talked about before. The Israeli superhero Sabra, and I don't know if she'll be in this now. I don't know if she was ever actually in the shooting script. It was just rumored that she was in a draft of it years ago. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what they do with that aspect of it. It's also a brave new world. What what in Sam Hill are they getting at with this brave new world, Eric? What do you think?
Right, and then how will this tie in with the Thunderbolts? I think
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Which,
that's
I
what's
mean,
exciting too. It's this is our
yeah.
primer kind of in. I'm sorry, you're saying, Christian.
No, it's okay. I was basically agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and Harrison Ford, I think it's a great choice. I love how he's sort of over the last few years as an actor has gotten really interesting. In the 42, the Jackie Robinson movie, he was great in that. I really enjoyed that last Indiana Jones. I liked what he did with that role. I mean, his return as Han Solo was incredible. Like, I think he's using his skills, his tools as an actor in a very different way now. Obviously, when you hit when 80's in your rear view mirror, it changes things. And I think the idea of Thunderbolt Ross also being a little older, I'm curious about how that plays out, especially because Anthony Mackie has such like an energy and an attitude of youth to him, even though he's not that young. But it feels like he just like the two of them together. I'm excited to see that chemistry. I don't know what they're going to do with Sabra, Shira Haas character. There was a lot of blowback even before the past 6 months, so I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
And it's it's up to people who get paid pretty handsomely to figure out what makes sense, what's gonna not kind of call attention to the wrong things. I think is a way to
Right.
look at
No,
it.
exactly. And sometimes you decide to take something out because it'll just be a distraction, whether it's a character or an actor who's, you know, in a smaller role but made too many headlines in their real life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you recast. There's a lot of that stuff. And allegedly, this film will tie up the loose end of something that was introduced in the 2011 Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, which is
Oh,
the
right.
character, the leader.
The leader.
So supposedly we're going to see the leader. And, we're getting Thunderbolt Ross, who was in that, although now it's played by Harrison Ford. So, I think that it could definitely be very fun. And I guess we're also going to get probably Sharon Carter in here, which I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see where that
How
goes.
is she still alive in this part of the way? I know that's.
I don't
Well,
know.
no, I'm sorry. I was thinking Peggy Carter for a second. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
Sharon.
not Peggy. Sharon. Yeah, her niece.
Sharon. Yeah.
Who's like the
Who has no
the
powers
master,
whatsoever.
the mastermind of Madripoor. Yeah.
I would
Well,
argue that the that the banker has more dramatic heft at this point than Peggy. So
yeah,
I know they set up her kind of slightly nefarious side, but I don't know. That's not the thing that's going to make us rush
yeah,
back to there. And they have so many other
yeah,
characters they could
yeah.
use
I mean,
a refresher, if you will.
it was a heel turn we haven't seen since the debut of Stefan Urkel, when Sharon Carter revealed herself to be a big bad in
Yeah.
Madripoor. Next year, 2024, also bring us the Fantastic Four movie, allegedly May 2nd, which when you see a date like that, you're like, hey, what aren't they telling us, about that movie?
Nah, that's never going to happen at that
Yeah, I
rate. I mean,
agree,
like,
by the way.
yeah, that's what 15 months from now for an
Yeah.
effect heavy movie. No. I mean, that's the first one that's going to be shifting come summertime of this year.
Yeah, no. I think that's absolutely what the case is. But that's where you get into something that I talked about a little bit earlier, which is you get blogs reporting on what other blogs report, which is Pedro Pascal's Fantastic Four casting seemingly confirmed by mysteriously deleted event bio. So a blog reports on the fact that they saw a biography by the Screen Actors Guild that said Pedro Pascal recently wrapped production on Ridley Scott's highly anticipated Gladiator 2 and will soon begin production on Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four. Okay, so it was a deleted description. So let's just for a second say, okay, that part's true, that there was something SAG-AFTRA. It sounds like it was written by somebody who Googled Pedro Pascal and saw like, oh, he's apparently linked to this, so let me put that in there, and it was taken down for a reason.
Oh, it's
Not
a CBR.
because,
It's a CBR story. I mean, that's
yeah,
they're
I
right at
know.
the
Well, yeah,
forefront of
exactly.
hard hitting
Yeah,
news.
it's it's the CBR is the old gray lady of nerd news on the internet. All the news that fits, they print But in any case, I look, Pedro Pascal could end up being Mr. Fantastic, but a lot of the coverage that cite back to the CBR article, this is only one blog that quotes the CBR article. They all say like, oh, well, SAG-AFTRA sure would know what his next role is. And it's like, I don't think these are written by people that understand how SAG-AFTRA works. It's your
Yeah.
union. So if there's a
They're not
labor
your
dispute
agent.
of some kind, yeah, they're there to collect dues from you.
Right.
And if something goes wrong and you have an issue, somebody will take up your cause. Or you could also, they can institute a strike and have people vote on that. But they're not like, we really think that Pedro Pascal should be doing this Fantastic Four movie.
Hey, Kevin Feige, it's me. It's Mr. SAG. I'm here to tell you about a hot young up and comer named Pedro Pascal. Yeah, no, that tells us nothing.
You were reminding me of when Howard Stern used to have Millie Bobby Brown's agent on. Yeah, you got to get Millie Bobby Brown. This kid is the best. You got to get her in your project. Come on, get her on your show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Pedro Pascal needs to be in everything. No, you're not listening to me, guy. He has to be in everything. Yeah, he's going to be in Fantastic Four. He's going to be in Fantastic Five. He's even going to be in a remake of Bionic 6. So, I don't know.
Give him a baby to protect, preferably green.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's supposedly, speaking of WandaVision, Matt Shakman's going to direct this Fantastic Four movie. It had been John Watts, but there've been a lot of those changes. And in the same way, Eric, where you don't believe that in May of 2025 we're going to see that movie, I also don't believe that in July of 2025, I might say 2023, July of 2025, we're going to get Thunderbolts. I just don't think we're going to be there, with Yelena, Taskmaster, and U.S. Agent. And, I guess that character's name was Ghost from Quantumania, and Elaine, So I'm just like, they were really excited to announce this when they did. But right here in this article in Variety, it says July 25th, 2025. I just don't think we're that close to it. But I will admit that I'm excited about this team, about this, whatever this is going to be. I'm excited for it. I'm interested in it when we get it. But Eric, we're not getting this movie in what, a year and a half, right?
Well, but at least with this one, the cast has been announced. The director's been announced.
Sure. Yeah.
So they have at least some of the assets in place. I mean,
Yeah.
a heck of a lot more than. I mean, Fantastic Four has nothing in place right now except the director.
Yeah. Well, to that point, I could see this coming out before Fantastic Four.
That is a given.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe July might be pushing it. Right. It's not in production yet. So,
Yeah.
And I don't think a shoot date has started. I mean, really, the SAG strike in some ways might have been the thing that Marvel needed. It's like the Saved by the Bell, guys on the mat, and as soon as the bell rings, like, oh, thank God! Like that's kind of what's happening here. I think a year with only Deadpool 3, followed by maybe a little bit of a thinner slate the following year. It's also going to make us real hungry. Like we're going to be genuinely excited to go to another epic Marvel production, be it one of the Avengers movies or Secret Wars, or even like a Spider-Man 4, because none of these that you've shown are really that level of epic. Like Thunderbolts is cool, Captain America cool, but it doesn't have the heft of some of those titles we've seen over recent years.
And I think it would be a mistake to give us in short order Captain America Brave New World in February, Fantastic Four in May, and Thunderbolts in July. I just think like people don't need that much that quickly, So maybe two of those three come out at some point. And I agree that I think, yes, they probably know a lot more about Fantastic Four than they've revealed to us. but I also don't think they're at the point where this movie's going to come out in less than a year and a half.
I
And
know.
similarly, Thunderbolts, I could see leapfrogging it, but actually still coming out in July, I guess, but just not having Fantastic Four. But everybody who's
Yeah.
watching in the chat, let us know what you think. If you're watching the archive version, share your thoughts. We want to know what everybody thinks about these release dates, which, as recent history has taught us, release dates are nothing if not fluid, Eric.
Right. Well, and Bob Iger, we can't sort of underestimate what happened when he came back, because Bob Iger was
Yeah.
really like, I mean, he was throwing shade left and right on a lot of these projects, like Miss Marvels. He basically said there was not enough. Was it not enough advising or guidance from the producers? So
Yeah.
he basically threw the Marvels right under the bus, and I think like Bob Iger's whole thing is like he really did want to thin out the slate a little bit. He feels like the TV stuff maybe chipped away at the quality of the cinematic element, and that they released just too much, a glut of titles one after the other. So I think the sliding everything back very much Iger's plan. But I think it also is beyond just dollars and cents. I think creatively, artistically, I mean, Marvel lost. Please correct me if I got the name wrong. Victoria Alonso, who was like
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Feige's like
Yes.
right hand woman, and
Correct.
they had some kind of uh, dispute, and she's gone. And you
Correct.
realize once you heard her name, you realize how many places you saw her name.
Yeah.
So she was an important, part of the creative team. So I think this is all, pushing things back is kind of what he realized they need. It's like they need to cool their heels, and this has been a very difficult year for Disney financially. Big titles did not do well, including Indiana
Big
Jones.
titles didn't
So,
do well, and that's outside of Marvel. I mean, they had, Elemental was a disappointment, Wish was a disappointment. I mean,
I mean, Wish was a
it
bomb.
they're
Like
looking
that
for
thing.
their yeah, which it was cute, but even my 8-year-old was like, yeah, too many songs, too much singing. So, you know,
Yeah, Act
that's
Two needed work.
yeah, he did. He's like, yeah, the character development, in Act Two was a little light. I think somebody should go back to film school, but uh, in the sense that we're talking about how I don't think we're going to get these three movies, it's important to then reveal that as of now, the expectation is that November of 2025 will bring us Blade. And I think there's absolutely no way that movie comes out at any point in 2025 because
Uh,
there have been so many problems. Allegedly, Mahershala Ali is a little bit dismayed. He's disenchanted and not as excited about the project as he was in this photo that we're showing where he had the Blade hat at Comic-Con. I believe this movie will come out. He's a phenomenal actor. I would like to see him as Blade. But if they don't, Wesley Snipes, I believe, is on parole, but maybe I'm wrong.
no,
But
he's out of jail. He's out of
he's
jail.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I was just making a joke. But maybe they can, do some kind of switch where Wesley Snipes reclaims the role of Blade and Mahershala Ali does Passenger 58 or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to come
That
up
sounds
with
that sounds like a win-win. Actually,
yeah.
I think you'll always bet on black again.
Again, yeah, exactly. So, but I think that the odds of this coming out at that point is basically the same as the idea of betting on the green 00 on the roulette wheel if we want to overextend the metaphor. Although I think I think that this movie does not come out in 2025. I think
They've
you're more
gone through
likely
like
to see. I think you're more likely to see Eternals 2 in 2025 than you are Blade. Sorry, what were you going to say, sir?
Eternals the cartoon, based on the
Yeah.
incredibly high McDonald's Happy Meal toys.
Hey,
They've gone through.
my son had Eternals pajamas. I they were discounted,
Aw.
and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. So let me get those. But yeah,
They were just they were
yeah,
just kind of threadbare. They
kind of.
were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, Blade's gone through is it 3 directors now? Like, I think they're on their third. I mean, that's not a great sign, and it's especially when it's like you look at. I mean, that's a great property. It's a cool title. It actually really helped usher in the sort of modern wave of superhero films. Uh, and Wesley Snipes obviously was like so perfect for that. And really, it also not just performance wise, his athleticism, which I always mispronounce his name.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali has. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the one who went to Kevin Feige and said, "I want to be Blade,"
Yeah.
and Kevin's like, "Yeah." Because he has training in this. I mean, as an actor, he's obviously fascinating. I just feel like you don't want to. You have a chance at something that could be really, really good, and the right mixture of character and performer, the right time for it. It feels like too, and so it's like they just can't get this thing launched. So yeah, I agree. The
Yeah.
2025 does not feel like it will bring us our old friend Blade back into our lives.
No, and I think we're already talking about how we expect some of those movies to move. Another movie that I think won't hit the street date is Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 1st, 2026. Now, I'm of the belief that the Kang character is still going to be the protagonist that he's being set up to be. I think they've done a lot of work. I think it's a great character. Of course, they need to part ways with Jonathan Majors. Obviously, they already have. But I don't think that means that character doesn't happen. The suggestion that instead they have a big bad as Doctor Doom means somebody who hasn't read comics with those two characters. Doctor Doom is a phenomenal villain, but he does not wreak havoc on the level that the guy who has infinite time traveling variants. So you can't replace it with that. There are some other ways to do it. There's the notion that they could pull on some threads from the Loki TV series, but the Kang Dynasty will not be arriving May 1st, 2026. I don't even think it shows up at the end of 2026. I think 2026 is going to feature two of those movies that we said would come out in 2025. What say you, Eric Conner?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's going to happen first. The Mets getting back to the NLCS or the Avengers movies.
Why do you do this to me? No,
you're so upset that your green screen disappeared. Your background disappeared because you're so upset.
Oh my gosh, it sure did.
Oh my god, we see.
Yeah, I know everything. You can see the shelving behind me.
The dark underbelly that is Christian
Blatt's
I don't even think I did Burbank.
That. Yeah, you know who I suspect it was? I think that it was someone who's not showing up right now. So yeah, I think I've just lost my my background entirely because I thought it would be funny to switch to Spot. There he is. It took a little while, but there's the Spot. I got the Spot behind me now. Yeah. So in any case, yeah, we've
there's a lot of rumors of who would play Kang. I mean, and they don't suffer for options. Was it John David Washington? Is one that I saw recently, and
so it's easy to characterize him as Denzel's son, so that people kind of know who he is. But
he's a great actor.
He's tremendous in BlacKkKlansman, and also. I did not feel that Tenet was a strong film, but he did give it, he gave a noticeable performance in that. Is, I guess, a nice way to say that. Boy, that movie was terrible.
I like Tenet more than you, actually.
I know, I know you did, and I get it. It's the same backwards and forwards, and in both directions, that movie's bad. But that's just me. As we sort of are running out of runway for this plane to take off, Secret Wars ain't happening May 7th, 2027 either. No. I think that basically I'm starting to feel that some of these release dates are just a year off. So you want to tell me May 7th, 2027, they have Kang Dynasty, and then whatever it is, May 6th, 2028, they have Secret Wars. Okay, we could talk, but I mean, they're just getting crazy now by thinking that we're going to have two Avengers movies in the next 3 years?
No.
Who's making this stuff up, Eric? Are they having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?
Oh, you're having a laugh. I think Variety. Shame on you. I mean, we might as well go over to Newsmax at this point in the article. I mean, it's clearly like it's a wish, it's a dream, and I think you just sort of look at it as like, okay, 2027 or TBD, most likely TBD, and I think it's just more about the sort of the sequence of it. But that's the part of this where I'm curious, because I feel like, I don't know, if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm trying to figure out how to get Spider-Man 4 somewhere in there. I think you
Yeah.
need something that is just a guarantee hit. Like the last great Marvel property, like great,
Yeah.
was No Way Home.
Yeah.
And the response to it, I mean, I'm still amazed at how they were sort of able to keep the secret of the 3 Spider-Men. And
They
the
did it. They
moment
did a
of,
really good job.
I don't know
I mean, most people
how.
did not know. Yeah.
I don't
I
do
don't know.
I mean, in this, modern day, I don't know how you're able to kind of keep, and I think people sort of knew, but there was no visual proof of it anywhere. Like, just really smart, but also beyond just being able to kind of hide that from us, dramatically, it worked really well and made us even reappreciate the work of Andrew Garfield. Because I mean, I thought the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 both were just so mediocre. Second one I thought was actually just bad. And for us to sort of welcome him back and give his character a real nice little arc in there. Tobey Maguire was always great in the original Spider-Man trilogy, and so it wasn't a surprise that he'd be great in this. And
Yeah.
so I just feel like at some point you're like, okay, we need we need to bring back Spider-Man. And that was a humongous dangling thread that people would love to see picked up. Namely, will he ever get it? Will they ever get their memory back of who Peter Parker is?
Yeah. Yeah, and I now realize we need to draw the line in the sand, which is the notion that I stand by. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was better than Tenet. That's right. I said it. I stand by it. One of those
You're a
movies I would.
rhino lover. You're a
It's
rhino.
true.
You
I
have
would
a
watch.
fetish.
I would watch one of those movies again. So we'll go really quickly through a lot of other projects that are undated. Daredevil Born Again seems like it's going to be amazing. They're making
And
some
you
of the
got your
right
wish?
decisions. Yeah, they're bringing Karen and Foggy back. And, in the original incarnation, this series, they were going to get killed. I think they were going to get Admiral Akbar, actually. I think they
Oh
were just going to,
no. Off
they
screen?
were going to die off screen so that they didn't have to pay the actors probably. And then they realized the value in maintaining sort of the continuity of that series. It'll ask a lot of questions of who else from the Netflix series might we see, and we'll just have to wait. There's also this Eyes of Wakanda project we don't know a lot about, so we're not going to spend that much time about it. We do know for sure there'll be a season 3 of What If, which personally I am looking forward to. We had a lot of fun with season 2 of What If. So, we'll just kind of see where we go from there. And I mean, let's not forget that Ironheart, I mean, she's introduced in Wakanda Forever for a reason. And we are supposed to get that show eventually, Eric.
The
One day.
reason, right? The reason was, hey, we're going to introduce you to Ironheart, but they're like the Glengarry Glen Ross leads, which means you don't get them. So to give it to you would
No.
be to throw them away, right?
Yeah.
We don't deserve her apparently, as she was so
Yeah.
cute, so fun, and I mean,
Yeah.
kind of an exciting character. It feels like perfectly suited for a TV show. So
Yeah. No, I
they
think
just,
it'll be great. I think she was very
it's a
well
shame.
cast. Yeah. No. We'll get to
Wonder
it.
Man.
Yeah, and I just heard that a member of the crew
Yeah.
filming Wonder Man this week actually died. I think during a stunt.
Oh no, it
So
wasn't. It was actually, from what I read, they were just setting things up. It was not. I don't think it
okay.
was during filming. It was just pre-pro, and
Oh
yeah,
my
unfortunately, a
goodness.
crew member passed away. So,
Yeah. So
so
I mean that
thoughts with
show
the family.
obviously in production but undated, just like
Yeah,
Daredevil, and that was terrible to hear. Armor Wars was going
I
to
don't
be a
think Nervous.
movie.
I don't
I was
think we're
gonna say
seeing this.
it was
I
gonna
just
be a movie. It was gonna be a TV series, and I'm like, it's gonna be nothing. Like, yeah, there nobody wants. And if Marvel Zombies happens, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be very disappointed. I hope if Marvel Zombies is one of those standalone like movies for Disney Plus, that's fine. I got no problem with that. I'll watch it. If it's a series, I might finally have my property that I tap out on, and I'm just like you guys tell me how it was, okay? Because I don't need Marvel Zombies. There's been a lot of talk about the Nova character, and this is one that I wanted to make sure we got to because for you, this is like number one dangling plot thread, which is the
yeah.
White Vision, and there's supposedly a Vision quest pulling on the series of the same name, where we would explore this White Vision character. And more than anything, I think that's what you want, Eric, is you want White Vision, right?
No, I want the theme from Vision Quest to be the theme for
To be,
this Vision Quest because I'm crazy
yeah.
for. That's all I can say without us getting striked.
Yeah,
So
no. We
yeah.
don't want to get a
See, I
strike from
stopped. I
YouTube.
stopped. I did a few notes. See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did it.
Oh, Echo.
Sorry. I was
Echo
going to say
2. No.
yeah, no. They're just saying that it already premiered. So we
It
did
did?
it. We got through the entire article. Season 1 premiered. We're all done.
1 hour.
Echo.
1
We're
hour
just
and 6
catching up.
minutes.
Yeah, I wanted it to be 45, 50, but God, I forgot how many things there were. I forgot how many of the undated
Yeah.
and how many of the pie in the sky ridiculous things were going to be in there. But that is our show for this week. But we will be back next week. We'll be back a day earlier than usual. You'll be getting us Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And yes, we are going to tell you about the romantic Valentine's Day Eric and I are going to spend.
It's going to be so much love.
The afternoon of Valentine's Day, while our wives clearly have better things to do. Eric and I are going to go see Madam Web at 12:20 p.m. on Wednesday, the 14th. So if you want to see it and you want to keep watching our show, you should go see it on Valentine's Day. Some would say it would make a perfect Galentine's movie, but only if you've, each had like a pitcher and a half of beer before you went to the movie theater. I feel like it's not a fun group movie, but
Nah.
I mean, that trailer just doesn't inspire confidence. The fact that there was no press screening, the fact that I have to go and see it in the theater with all the normal people, I never feel good about that.
With all common folks like me.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very emotional day. I think it's possible one or both of our wives will realize like maybe they could have picked a better mate if they're on Valentine's Day. Their spouse is enjoying Madam Web, which, by the way, I think I can hold this up. This
yeah. Wait,
this was the
you
theater.
keep talking, but I'm going to put you in the big screen.
Oh yeah. So I mean, luckily, Christian told me which seat was his, or else I would have had no idea.
When I sent it to you, there was literally one seat in the theater, and it was the one that I had chosen. And then there were two. I feel like there's got to be more now. I haven't looked.
Oh, I know. Oh, wait. Oh,
we can look. Yeah, I mean, well, let me tidy things up and let people know that is the show that they will find next Thursday. That'll be next week's show. We're going to do it a day early so that we can immediately give you our reactions to Madam Web. And this is not going to be one of those Marvel properties where we do 3 episodes reacting to it. This is going to be a one and done. And a little programming note for fans of the Geekscape Book Club that the next installment of that will be Friday the 29th, Leap Day. And oh my goodness, Eric, is that true? There are only
me
the 2 seats
and Christian.
of us.
And if you look closely, you can see the bond between us.
Yeah.
So powerful that no one would dare buy tickets to that theater. I mean, I think we're going to learn a lot about each other. I think there's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of love. And I'm comfortable with this. I'm ready for this moment. And I think Madam Web will really teach us about the webs that control our heart.
you you have to remember that we're going to that film because we want to be tangled in her web. That is how that film has been marketed, and that is what's going to happen to us. And
Oh,
it was my birthday yesterday, and so AMC Theaters has provided me with a complimentary large popcorn and a large drink. I am going to drink as much of that soda as possible so that I have to get up and go to the bathroom at least 3 times. I think that's going to make the movie better to be able to take short
oh,
little mini breaks from it.
listen, my birthday's not till June, but as a AMC stockholder, note to audience, I am not a stockholder whatsoever. But you can check a box that says you are, and then you get the AIC free sample size HV Ranch popcorn, Hidden Valley Ranch popcorn. I did use the sample already, and I guess they didn't mark it off. It was basically a third of the size of this was the sample size of Hidden Valley Ranch popcorn. And I'll tell you, I part of that still has not escaped my pores. I don't think you realize how Hidden Valley Ranch is. It's kind of like the herpes of seasoning. It just never leaves.
Yeah, it's true. They used to have commercials where they said that. Yeah. So I love the fact that you pretend to be an AMC stockholder so that you
Yeah.
can get.
Yeah. I always wear a monocle and a top hat
Yeah.
when I go to the AMC
Yeah,
theater,
so
so they
yeah,
know I'm
you
fancy.
you show up as Guy Incognito so that you can get a thimble full of popcorn, which is amazing. Well, we're very excited about that
It's
day,
gonna be
and
so
we can't
romantic.
wait to share with each and every one of you. So make sure that you check us out that day. I think that we are, of course, very excited. I don't know if that's might be overstating the case a little bit, but for everybody out there, I wanted to shout out a new limited series from our pal Chris Claremont is Wolverine Madripoor Nights. This is, of course, a
Oh,
comic
cool.
book that has just started this week. It's basically the continuing adventures from Uncanny X-Men 268, which is the iconic Jim Lee cover of Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America. So it's sort of like more of their stories from that era, like during World War II. So excited to check that out and just wanted to shout it out for everybody. I know Daniel Drew is looking at that and he's like, yep, it's in my poll. I got to go pick it up. I feel like Daniel never misses a beat, and I'm sure he knows about that one. In any case, we have let you know when you can see this show again. I want to offer up an alternative for any of you who maybe don't want to watch Usher on the halftime show at the Super Bowl, and that is the Who Are These Broadcasters halftime half show, offering up some alternative programming during halftime at the Super Bowl on the YouTube channel for Who Are These Broadcasters. It is a show that I usually do Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, but we're doing a special Super Bowl halftime edition. So check that out. And of course, I have the Blackcast, BLADTCAST. You can find everything over there. Eric Conner, where do people find you?
You can find me all sorts of places, but maybe start with Cat Eric Conner over on X and on Instagram. And happy day after birthday, possibly day before birthday. Christian has many birthdays.
Yes.
All it's like in the multiverse of birthdays. So happiest of birthdays. I hope AMC treats you with the love and respect you deserve, as do your actual family at home. And I wish you several happy more birthdays.
Well,
Maybe
I'm
not
just
many, but
warning you
several.
because we're gonna celebrate my birthday. We're gonna celebrate Valentine's Day. We're gonna go together. There's gonna be no one else in the theater, and I am gonna get one of those Dune 2 popcorn buckets. So be careful. But that'll be our conversation next time. Obviously, follow Count Eric Connor. Follow me at Christian DMZ. I know we went a little long, but there was some really crazy stuff to report on not happening. But we just wanted to go through all of that. I thought it was a good idea to just get it all out of the way. We'll see as these dates change along the way. What did you want to say, Eric?
I was gonna say it's like we did the sort of play-by-play color commentary for a game that got rained out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You're just like, yeah, what would have happened? Yeah,
Right.
this is the the if I did it scheduling is basically what this was. In any
That's
case,
brilliant.
check us out after you rush out to see Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney in Madam Web in theaters Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Our show Thursday, February 15th, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That'll be next time. And as we say goodbye the way that the great Stan Lee would say,